All right, we are in Act 3 of the Protege week, and we're talking about the Empress 1908 gin with this gorgeous indigo blue color. You can see a little bit of this in there. I'm going to pour my...
Looks purple to me.
Comrade a little bit of this extra gin, yummy, with a lot of aromatic and black tea from the Hotel Fairmont in Victoria, British Columbia. So how do we start this review? We got to remind everybody that if they put their comments in by the date above our head, they will win this Blu-ray.
Yep.
Straight from JR's private collection.
Wow,
white gloved all the way here.
We'll get you your own copy of the Blu-ray. That's mine out of my vault. So, Dane, it's the movie review act, and we're talking about The Protege, starring Maggie Q and Michael Keaton. I almost said Ryan Reynolds. That would have been interesting, right?
And Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. This movie, why don't I just read you a couple of stats real quick?
Okay, a couple of stats.
This movie was released August 20th, 2021. Studio is Lionsgate Film. U.S. box office, 7 million. Worldwide box office, 8 million. Didn't do very well at the box office.
There, yeah. But this came out during the pandemic.
Right in the middle of COVID. So, screenplay was by Richard Wank. Only one guy, Wank.
Don't know Mr. Wank.
No. Directed by Martin Campbell.
Don't know Mr. Mick Campbell.
Okay, that's what I wanted to ask. Do you know who Martin Campbell is?
No.
So he directed No Escape. He with Ray Liotta. Remember where they were on the island?
Yep.
And they were prisoners? He directed GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan.
Okay, yeah, it was a great movie.
He directed Mask of Zorro and Legend of Zorro with Antonio Banderas. He directed Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds.
Terrible movie.
He directed The Foreigner with Jackie Chan, where it's kind of his kids were killed by some terrorists. But the last movie that I saved that he directed, Casino Royale.
No.
Daniel Craig.
Oh.
He was the director of Casino Royale.
Well, that's a great tie-in.
Right?
To our previous Act 2 episode of this week.
Top 8 secret agent, spy, assassin movies. If you haven't seen our Act 2, go back and check for it on YouTube. And Casino Royale makes a little appearance in there somewhere, right?
Just a slight appearance.
Slight appearance, okay. So this movie stars Maggie Q as Anna. I guess assassins always need to be named Anna.
Yeah.
Right?
Or Hannah.
Hannah or Anna. Or Banana, or I don't know.
Or Betty.
So,
are you okay with that, Betty? Did Betty contact you back?
Oh, no.
Previous episode.
Yeah, previous episode. So, she was in Mission Impossible 3, Live Free or Die Hard. She's also in the Divergent series, if you saw Divergent.
Yes, I know. I fully agree.
She was
Great
in
theories.
Jason Blumhouse's Fantasy Island.
Yes,
I don't know if you saw that.
No, I did not see that. I knew she was in it, but I did not see that.
But I still didn't really recognize her, to be honest with you. I know, I mean, I guess I'd seen her from somewhere, but I just...
Probably Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
She was the one that drove the Ferrari up in the Vatican and then stepped out in this gorgeous red dress and high heels and everything.
Oh, okay.
So, it might have been a Lamborghini. I can't remember what it is, but we'll put a little scene up where she jumps out.
It's an Italian sports car.
Yes.
So also starring Michael Keaton as Rembrandt.
Who's that guy?
I don't think we need to go through Michael Keaton's career. Samuel L. Jackson plays Moody, who's supposed to be a legendary assassin. Robert Patrick, you know who that is?
Yeah.
He played in
Terminator?
T2. Yep. And then Patrick Malahide. He played kind of the bad guy in this, named Vole, the older guy that we'll talk about.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the movie summary on IMDb simply states this: rescued as a child by the legendary assassin Moody. So I guess there's some history there.
Yeah.
Anna is the world's most skilled contract killer. However, when Moody is brutally killed, She vows revenge for the man who taught her everything she knows. That's the description of the movie.
Okay.
All right.
Good job with that description.
So, what should we tell them right now?
And it's a great reminder, by the way. So we were going to be doing the heavy spoilers. So if you do not want to be spoiled by what we're talking about in the next 15 to an hour, 2 hour instance, we want you to jump ahead to the point up above my head. Jump to that point and you'll hear our rating, but you will not get any spoilers.
Yes.
So
you can skip ahead to our Cult Lords ratings and just see what we rate the movie, but you won't hear any of these heavy spoilers that we're about to lay down.
Right. We're going to slip these spoilers into your DMs.
Yes.
So get out of here and jump ahead.
Yes.
All right. Avoid it. So we're going in now. That's it. We're done.
We're going in. We're going in. We're going in hot.
Go.
All right. So, Dane, this movie opens up. It's in Vietnam.
Yes.
And what you see is a group of thugs that have kidnapped some young girls, and they're kind of back out their hideout. One of the thugs is kind of dealing with this one young girl, but she happens to she kind of breaks out of her little cage while he's gone, finds a gun, and when he comes back, she pulls the gun on him and shoots him, right? Mm-hmm. So the other kidnappers hear that, they come running in. She somehow managed to shoot all of these guys, right? Right as that kind of finishes up, a mysterious man is walking into this hideout. And this man is Samuel L. Jackson, known as Moody, the legendary assassin. He's there to grab this bag of money, but he sees the carnage that just happened, and he's wondering what just happened, right? So he hears this sound. He goes in, guns drawn, comes around a corner, and there's this little young girl with a gun drawn on him.
In a cabinet.
Yep. And he says, "You didn't create all this carnage and do all this, did you?" And
that Beretta or something like that.
Yeah.
Takes the gun out of her hand because she's like, click.
Right.
Like, click at him.
Right. So takes the gun out of her hand, says, "Come on, you're coming with me." Goes ahead and grabs all the money, puts it in a bag, and essentially they escape Vietnam. And what you see is, it's now modern, and that was like done back in the 70s or something like that, late 70s. Now you see it's modern day times, and this little young girl has grown up to be a woman that Samuel L. Jackson has become basically her stepfather, but he has trained her the whole way
mentor
to be a deadly assassin.
Right.
And so she goes on kind of assassin runs with him, right? So,
Go to the Russian oligarchy.
So, yeah.
Tracks down somebody the butcher.
Yeah.
Benny the butcher.
Well, yeah. Kidnaps his son first.
Yes.
And
it was a big trick.
So it was a big trick because when she goes in there demanding money, the Russian oligarch is laughing. "I'm going to kill you in an hour and get my money back." She's like, "I'm not here for the money."
No, she's not here for the money, and she has a little secret, snap knife thing that she gets him in the neck.
Yep.
Throws him in the pool, blood everywhere, does some martial art moves, kills the other gunmen that are in the area, and then walks out calmly.
Yeah. And so what that does is that she goes back, and you see she goes back to kind of this beautiful mansion. You're like wondering, where is this mansion? I guess it's Samuel L. Jackson's mansion.
The British countryside.
On the British countryside. Like that wouldn't draw attention to you if he's in hiding. But
is he hiding? No, he's a secret assassin. You wouldn't know that.
Well, not so secret.
Never mind the fact that he's an African male.
African male living in the country side of England with
crap load of money.
With an English housemaid, right? Who's taking care of him. And she goes to see him. And so he says, "Hey, I've got another assignment for you," right? And he goes, "What we need to do is we need to find out about this little boy." And, I
want to find, where he's at.
Where he's at.
And she's like, what's this about? It's his birthday, by the way. And so They bring him a cake, and he brings in a very fancy 90 Stratocaster. Is that what the name of the guitar was? Carries him a great guitar.
And whose guitar? Who owned that guitar?
Somebody famous. I don't know.
Albert King, the blues artist.
Albert King. Okay, well, this is your area. So.
Yeah. So because he said something like, "Oh, I would love to play this, but I can't do it."
King's because and she's like, "It's his."
Yeah.
So you better learn.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Ooh, where the hell did you get this?" But you find out at that point that she's a exotic book dealer,
right? So
and knows the skills to track down very exotic like books and obviously guitar instruments and things of that genre.
That is her daytime quote unquote job.
Mm-hmm.
Her
non-assassin job.
Her non-assassin job to make it look like she's a legit citizen, right? So she owns a bookstore, a rare bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
And in one day walks a gentleman wanting to buy a book, says, "Hey, my boss is into rare books. He wants to give a rare book as a gift to his wife. What do you recommend?" And who is that gentleman?
That is Mr. Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
And he's looking for a very special book for his boss's wife. And he's looking for a book that there is only like 5 copies in the world originally. It was a bird book. I forget.
That's right. It's an Audubon book.
Audubon book.
She didn't have it.
Right.
So he says, "What would you recommend then?"
And what does she recommend? Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh yeah, I was going to say
first edition poems.
Yes.
Even published under a pseudonym, so even earlier. And he's like, "Ooh,
yeah,
I'm impressed." And then he says, and then he recites lines from that book, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then she's impressed with him.
So then he says, "What's the chances of a guy like me, kind of?" I mean, I don't think this is verbatim, but he says, "A guy like me, maybe having dinner with you at some point like that." But she says, "Good." She says
it's 27 minutes or something, and she's like, 6 of that is me thinking about this. 20 of that is me saying no to you.
But then he gives her a card, right?
Yes, he gives her a card.
So says, "Oh, if things change, give me a call," right?
Mm-hmm.
So then he walks out. But then she goes on another like assassin's run, where she literally, what was cool about this one was ahead of time she sends this guy a box of cigars in the mail. Now, I wonder how she got this in, because when she goes in to meet this guy, the box of cigars are sitting on his desk, right? Wow. That she sent. Am I missing something?
You are missing something, because at this point, Moody's been killed.
Oh, okay.
And she...
Well, that's right.
So she pre-programs that box of cigars and sends it to those who she thinks is involved with.
So then let's take one step back. She does go to visit her stepdad, quote unquote. But I have a question to ask about the whole stepdad relationship.
She goes back to the mansion because
she goes back to the mansion. She walks in. The
maid's been shot terribly.
She finds
Moody shot in the tub. A face, blah, like his whole entire upper body has been shot.
But the guy, they do show like some scenes of this. The murderer comes in with a shotgun, and shoots him in the face. Who shoots the housekeeper, comes in, shoots him in the face, basically blows his face off. He's laying in the tub of blood, right? Because quote unquote blowing his face off
makes him unidentifiable. Yes.
So she believes that Moody is dead. So she goes on a hunt to see who did this, right? She does her research, leads him to this man. So, but she sends the cigars ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And when she goes into his office to quote unquote talk business, she notices that the cigars are there. They're open. They're all like white. Like in white tubes, except for one.
I know. It was like
a different color.
That seemed to me very odd.
Right.
Wouldn't anyone naturally gravitate what's different about this cigar?
Yeah, if you're gonna open that box of cigars, why is this one a different color from all the other cigars?
Right.
But somehow, to make the story move on, it's there. So what she does is she ends up basically grabbing that cigar. It's also a knife.
Yes.
And she's threatening to kill the guy because he brings in his lawyer.
No, remember? The lawyer shoots the guy in the head.
Well, before that happens, he brings in the lawyer, and you think she's kind of negotiating with the lawyer, but then the lawyer basically shoots the guy in the head to show him that I don't really care.
Startling scene.
Yeah.
You're like, what? Why would the lawyer shoot the guy in the head? And then after they're about to take her down, she pulls that one knife out and then goes out and slashes the lawyer in the face.
Across the face. But first the lawyer says, that guy was not the important guy.
Yeah.
My boss is the important guy. And it turns out that we'll find out that his boss is Michael Keaton's boss as well.
Yes, I know. So, a lot of little, everyone's related at that top level.
So Maggie Q has to ensue with some hijinks and kills half the people in the building before she kind of makes it out. And then what happens? She gets hit by a car.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah.
She walks out on the street.
I'm so lethal and so aware of my surroundings, but I'm going to walk across the street and get hit by a car.
Yeah. And then
they take her prisoner.
Right.
And then that's when Michael Keaton comes in.
After she escapes this giant ensemble of assassins, she gets hit by the car.
The assassins, before Michael Keaton comes in, they start doing water torture on her, putting the blanket over her face, pouring water.
Put her in a little prison cell.
Yeah. Trying to break her. Who sent you? Who are you with?
Yeah.
They can't break her. So then Michael Keaton comes in and says, basically, when his Michael Keaton manner, they're like gonna kill you if you don't. You know?
Like just you got to be buddies with me because if you keep going with these guys, they're eventually going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to his assassin buddy or his killer buddies, and he's like, "Oh, no problem. I'm just going to talk to her nicely, and then she'll give me the answers to my questions."
Yeah. Yeah. So
she's been so friendly. Well, and obviously he met her previously, so this is the first time that they've been connected outside of their book meeting.
Right.
And she's like, "What?"
And he goes,
well, I didn't realize you were this type of assassin.
Well, and he says to her, I was still waiting for that call, right? You never did call.
Right.
So he leaves, and just as he leaves, she figures out, I can't remember, but she escapes the prison.
Right. She figures out a way to beat the crap out of the guards.
Yeah. She beats
Knock him out with the steel, conveniently metal serving TV dinner dish that they brought her. Yeah. And then she escapes.
Yep, she escapes. So then she goes back to the dry cleaner, to her information guy, and he's dead. They've roasted him in the steamer.
Nice super roasting in the steamer. I don't even know if that's possible with a clothing steamer, but his back is like almost roasted off, like a nice... He's got a nice medium rare cut there.
Right.
And so then from there, she goes to Vietnam.
And that's where she meets up with Robert Patrick. And you know what? There's obviously some history that she has with him, but they don't go into what that backstory is, do they?
She just drives up the middle of them on a Ducati.
Yeah, they're like all like American kind of expats
in Vietnam, all riding Harley Davidsons.
And she just goes right through them. And then they meet at the bar.
Right.
And then like all the other bikers, they don't know her, so they want to like kick her ass, right?
Right.
For like almost running them off the road. But Robert Patrick's like, no, I got this, fellas.
Let's all have a Heineken together because they're very green beers.
Yeah. And they actually, I think they say it by name, right? A Heineken, or maybe they don't. I don't know.
No.
Okay.
They deliberately also hid the label so you didn't see it. It was a green bottle though. So there's only a few green bottles out there, but and that was so they got into that. They met her. He all of a sudden is like into her plan. She wants to figure out somebody out here in my hometown.
Right.
Has been constructing these, killed Moody.
Right.
Her mentor.
And it was all, and she says it's all because we inquired about this person, and it was a 12-year-old boy. Mm-hmm. We don't understand why.
Right.
We didn't do anything. We just inquired about this boy. Not that they don't have other enemies, but
yeah, they're skipping all the rest of the globe.
Yeah. So she's asking for information from him. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
Right.
Right, and then she tracks down that orphanage.
Yep.
She finds the kid. He's, finds it's somebody with autism, but realizes there's some manipulation of the dates, of birth dates, or who the father is and all that, and then sorts that out, and then goes back to kind of like...
Well, then that's when, isn't that somewhere around then, is when she finds out who his father was, that supposedly he died in the past, but she finds out that he didn't die, took a different name, and has become a successful billionaire magnate under a new name that he has assumed. And for some reason, he wants that name to have been known as being dead, right?
Right.
So she now knows who that is. That's the person that Michael Keaton reports to. So now she's setting her sights on going out and killing that guy.
Right. But Michael Keaton has been kind of oddly playing a love interest here with her.
Then this is what I was going to ask you about. So before she kind of makes her embarkment on what was actually a big socialite cocktail party where she's going to kill this guy. Right. She meets up with Michael Keaton again. They go to dinner.
Nice dinner.
Nice dinner.
Gorgeous red dress.
Yeah. And he's like wanting to hook up with her that night. And she's like, this will be the best circumstance you ever see me in.
Yes.
Right. And so she leaves. But then what happens is when Michael Keaton's like, well, all shucks, I'll get her next time. He leaves and kind of goes walking in downtown Vietnam, not realizing that the lawyer guy, who's not a lawyer,
who's kind of like a peer to him.
Peer to him.
Peer to him,
boss.
Well, for lack of a better description, the mafia.
Yes. It has put a hit out on him, basically.
Right.
Sent his henchmen out to go kill Michael Keaton.
Yep.
And so they track him down, try to kill him. Michael Keaton basically escapes, kills some of them and escapes, right? And is like, you know what? I'm gonna go meet that lawyer and kill him at his house or his condo, right? But before he can get there, who's already there? Maggie Q. Anna is there to kill him because that's her way, kind of making her way up to the big boss. Is she's found him. Yeah. So Michael Keaton gets in there and he immediately walks in. He can see there's disturbance in the place. He pulls out his gun. He finds the lawyer guy, his peer, dead in a tub. And then he gets into a kind of a fight with Maggie Q where they dislodge the guns, but then it becomes a fist fight. And Maggie Q's kicking his butt, basically, throwing him all around the room.
The table crashes, so they do flips on it and everything. And then inevitably they end up like...
in bed.
In bed, because somehow Michael Keaton's like, well, this is fun. Yeah. Maybe you don't want to kill me. I don't want to kill you. Let's just have a little
rendezvous.
Rendezvous in the bed.
When's the oddest time you've had whoopee? As Bob Eubanks would say.
Of our 5-point questions, girls, tell me where specifically is the weirdest place that you personally, girls, have ever gotten the urge to make whoopee? Olga?
Right after fighting and trying to kill each other, you know, we've had
laundry room versus assassination.
Yes. So they proceed to have intercourse, and then they just like walk out from that, right?
Right. Oh yeah. But now they're like equal buddies.
Yeah. But they basically and she you can tell she's kind of enamored by him, and she says something like, now that we've had this time together, this moment together, could you really kill me? And his thing is, I would put a bullet in the back of your head with 2 seconds thought or something like that.
Right. She
goes, oh, really? Okay. All right. That's how it is, basically. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. So he's just not that into me.
Right.
So she like walks out and gets her butt kicked though, right? As soon as she walks out of that apartment, doesn't somebody like show up and attack her? Somebody attacks her, and just when it looks like she's about to die, somebody comes in and kills that person. And who is it?
Samuel L.
It's Moody.
Jackson.
He's not dead.
He's not dead. It's a big surprise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You thought the whole movie he had gotten a shotgun to the face, but nope.
No, what he
did. And then he reveals that he had like a gardener buddy or something like that who looked kind of blackish.
Yeah. Blackish? Isn't that a TV show?
It is.
Okay.
He looked a little blackish, so he's like, I'll just put the guy's face up in the tub and shoot him in the face, and then
take off his face, and then everybody will think it's me.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's going to do a DNA test.
African-American in the countryside of England with a large manor.
Yeah. Nobody's going to do a DNA test, but,
right.
You know.
Just sort this out.
So, but she thought he was dead. He's not dead. So they
big reveal.
They get back together and they kind of go back to a hideout. He nurses her wounds, and they bring in Robert Patrick.
Yes, again.
And all three of them are scheming on how do we take down this big boss, right? The big boss. And they talk about his layout of his complex.
Compound.
He's got like a panic room, and they said if he gets into that panic room, it's over. We got to get him before he gets.
Cement complex built into the.
We got to get to him before he gets to this panic room.
And this is in Vietnam, by the way.
Right. So.
And they never establish who this guy really is.
No.
Because he's got some political clout in Vietnam.
He's got political clout.
But they never
He's got billions of dollars and an assumed identity.
And he's completely clean to the general public eye because he does charity events.
Right.
And he's a nice guy with the orphanages.
Right.
Donates money to this and that. But he's a complete S-bag from the backside.
And the funny thing is, S-bag or D-bag?
Well,
I guess either
I'm
one.
saying S-bag.
You're saying S-bag. You could be a D-bag.
It could be a D-bag.
What other kind of bags do we have out there that are, derogatory? C-bag? All right. So anyways, so this guy's going to throw this huge charity event at his place. And Michael Keaton is kind of helping plan the security, but there is somebody who's in charge of the security. And he goes, oh, this is going to be a breeze. Michael Keaton's like, You're an idiot.
Right.
You're an idiot.
You don't know what's coming.
You do not know what's coming. Because he knows that Maggie Q, who is very skilled at what she does, is coming.
Which in a lot of ways makes no sense. If you already got this top level assassin / security guy, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
This is the rich guy. I'm speaking from his standpoint. Why would you go and hire this other guy from Israel to handle all your security? It didn't make any sense. I mean, It was like, how many, you have all these guys handling different things. If you got a top guy, why wouldn't he do it too? Especially after he's saying, you guys have no idea what's coming. Right,
nobody's going to believe him. All right?
God.
So, Dane, now, if you are a trained security agent, operative, and you're trying to protect an event, which happens to be kind of a cocktail dinner event, what's the first avenue you're going to look at to make sure an assassin doesn't come in?
The wait staff.
The wait staff. Right. That's the first thing.
But he's not in charge technically.
He's not, but
he's separated. He's like the second guy under the big boss, but he's not in charge of security.
He's not, but that's where I'd be going to look.
I know.
Because guess how Maggie Q or Anna gets her way into this dinner?
Shortens her hair,
puts on a waitress jacket, starts serving the people.
Right.
And she gets in.
Yeah, somehow. Which they never explained how she got in. Who does she know inside?
She's a skilled operative, and
suspend your disbelief.
We got to suspend our disbelief of how this would happen. But she
gets in there.
So she's out serving people, and every time she sees Michael Keaton, she turns her back, and Michael Keaton looks at her from behind. He's like,
from the behind, you kind of look familiar, but I can't figure out why.
Did I make love to that person? No, I guess not.
Did you flip me over the table last night?
Did you flip me over to the table? Did I make love to you last night? No, I guess not. That's not you. So yeah, she's out there serving.
And she pulls a gun out.
And
she's all ready to kill the big boss.
And he jumps up on the table, and he's running across in slow motion. and he's yelling, and like I think he shoots her first because then she takes
right in the shoulder.
Because then when she takes her shot, it's off the mark.
Yes.
Of the boss,
the big bad guy.
His name is Vole, the big bad guy.
Right. They never explain why he's a big bad guy, but anyways.
But you know, his name is Vole, which is like
underground mole,
an underground rat, basically.
Yeah, right.
Man, I wonder if that has anything.
Rats.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's call him Vole.
Which didn't make any sense in that whole thing because they never gave him a backstory. They just, you just assume he's a bad guy.
He's the MacGuffin.
So then she gets shot in the shoulder, disappears in the crowd. Of course, it's all
because everybody starts running out when the gunshots go off.
Michael Keaton tracks her down through the elaborate house with blood spilling everywhere.
Yeah, and while that happens, the agents rush Vole off the stage to the secret
underground bunker,
which is the safe room, and lock the door. And now he's relaxing in the safe room on the couch with a cigar, and he's got all these TVs that have all the security surveillance.
Yeah.
So he's watching what happens everywhere on the compound, and he actually sees Michael Keaton chasing Maggie Q in a garden
on the TV.
On the TV, he sees that. So what happens next, Dane?
I don't know. I'm having a nap. No. He then decides to walk around the room and...
Sit up, my friend. Sit up.
All of a sudden he hits into... What does he run into? I was going to do the rest of the episode like that. You're calling me out. But he runs into who? In the bunker with him, walks out, and it's Samuel L. Jackson revealing that he's back.
Yes. Somehow, of course, in the planning, they said if he gets into this bunker, it's over. Mm-hmm. So Samuel L. Jackson says, well, I've got an answer for that.
Moody is back.
I'm going to get into that bunker somehow.
He's been sitting in a bathroom or a closet for like, I don't know, 48 hours?
I don't know.
So he shows up, starts giving the boss guy a bit of I'm going to give you a what's what here with my special talents have gotten past all of your skilled Israeli security guards. I've been sitting in this bunker for I don't know how many times, 48 hours. When you finally appeared after we, of course, orchestrated the blow up in your place, I am down here waiting for you.
And then the guy goes, ha ha ha, you can shoot me if you want, but you will never get out of here. And then Samuel L. Jackson says, I never planned to get out of here.
Right.
And then he has a detonator and he launches, or he hits it, boom, 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 boom. The whole thing blows up.
Yep.
So
compound, house, everything.
Everything.
And Maggie Q and Michael Keaton are out of that immediate blast zone, and they decide to. She's gotten shot a couple of times.
Yeah.
So she somehow escapes on a boat.
Yeah.
Into the harbor, goes down his rib. She's barely able to move. She's kind of getting down. She goes amazingly back to the exact same locale that she grew up in, where she had to kill these gangsters
in Vietnam,
low street gangsters.
And guess who's waiting there for her?
No, he didn't wait for her. He somehow decides to show up because I knew where you would be.
Yeah,
which didn't make any sense.
And so they pull out guns and they're pointing them at each other, and then so you're wondering, these two they've shared some time together. They shared a bed. Michael Keaton's boss is gone. He doesn't report to her, this guy anymore.
Right.
So what are they going to do here? So then they go to the outside of the house and they show two blast points. Pop, pop. And it shows. And then you wonder,
who's dead?
Who's dead? Did they kill each other? But only one person walked out.
Exit stage left. She walks out.
And I guess she...
Exit stage left. The woman walks exit stage left.
Oh, okay.
She walks out to the left. And that's to the left. And that's it. You're wondering, obviously he's dead.
Right, he's dead. Unless she playfully blasted a different person's face off. I don't know.
Shot him in the balls. He's not potentially dead, but you don't know. That's in the movie.
No, yeah. I actually kind of wish they didn't show her walk out. It would have been kind of cool if you were left to your imagination, who died or did they both die?
That's another level of your imagination, because when she walked out, you're kind of like, well, did she kill him or not kill him?
Right.
But to your point, it's like, well, who died?
Well,
and that would have actually, ironically, been a much better
guess what? Guess where I was just going, Dane?
Yep.
What would you have done differently in this movie to make it any better?
No, you suggested it.
I know.
Been a better ending.
I'm just saying that segues into
better. So we're not getting into the reviews yet, but I mean, that would have been a much better story. I'm not looking at your screen. That would have been a much better storyline with.
I don't want him to see because
I know he's
I'm
really
scrolling down and I've
protecting his screen.
I've got my Cult Lords rating here, so I don't want him to see it.
I can't see your screen.
Okay.
But he's like tilting it. Move it to the side. But a couple of things that would have really made this movie better. What you just suggested. Don't have her walk out. Just end it at that. Who killed who? You leave it to your imagination. B, the tone of that movie changed all over the place. It was jokey sometimes. It was hard. She was basically brought up after her parents were killed by this vicious Vietnam gang. That was a serious moment, and she grew up from that. And then there was, obviously the assassins and stuff. The tone of the movie changed constantly.
It did.
You cannot have...
Not constantly,
and then it became almost like a weird romance at one point.
There was some strangeness to the romantic...
They couldn't, figure out, where is this movie going? Is it a romance? I mean, is it a love story? Is it a...
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with it, but there was a moment in the movie where she was at Samuel L. Jackson's house and they were laying on the bed together, and it seemed like Samuel L. Jackson wanted to hook up with her for a second, and she's like, no. It almost sounded like there was a history of some sort of activity from a romance or sexual nature between Anna and Moody. Did you get that?
Well, that was after he all of a sudden revealed he hadn't been killed.
Right. And she was like, no, we're not doing that. We're not blah, 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 blah.
I didn't pick up on that.
Okay. It was a very weird, why did they have to go there?
But I mean, to your point, there could have been they decided, I didn't pick up on that, but obviously you did. I mean,
I'll show you the scene after this. Yeah. But it was why did they have to put this in there? Because he's supposed to be her stepdad and her guardian, right?
Right.
So,
mentor, savior, whatever you want to call it. I mean, And when he picked her up, she was probably 7, 8?
10 at the most.
Yeah, at the most.
Yeah.
When he found her for the first time. And that was a very poignant scene where he is walking her out and then shoots the guards
to get her out of Vietnam.
To get her out of Vietnam. So there was all these very touching moments. Right. But that goes back to the whole tonality of the movie. It's what is this movie supposed to be about? Is it her love interest with Michael Keaton? Is it her mentor fathership with Samuel Jackson? Is there cold-blooded killedness where she's just taking out the Russian oligarch, all these guys, the guy that she cuts out and then escapes? I mean, there was just way too much, all over the place. Where is this movie going? And then the ending, I mean, you had touched on.
Well, I'm just saying that from the ending standpoint, it would have been cooler if the director didn't show you who walked out.
Right.
And you were left there wondering, well, who died? Right. Did they both die? Or did one of them die?
But I think where they got stuck with that is that she is the main character.
She's the MC.
She's the MC. And so she's got an objective. She gets to get the end. But the dumb thing, going back to that, the MC, she killed indirectly. The bad guy got killed that she wanted to find. So then what happened with the MC with Michael Keaton? I'm they muddied the whole water. Really, it should have been Michael Keaton and the other guy. They just totally clouded that image where she should have killed through him and then get to the opponent.
Not necessarily. I see what you're saying. Probably from a traditional script writing, that's what you want.
Right.
But what the director obviously wanted here was when it's all over, there is an element of wonder in your mind. Now that Michael Keaton no longer has to report to this guy, will they end up together? And the answer was no.
Yes, the answer was no.
The answer is no. So I found that part pretty pretty good and entertaining.
But you mentioned this earlier. Michael Keaton didn't have a boss anymore.
Right.
The entire regime had been destroyed. So why didn't he just say, hey, I'm here to hook up with... I'm here to be your friend. I'm here to be your lover. What was the point of that? It didn't make any sense at that point.
Unless he was loyal, but they never built any character background to show what loyalty he had to that guy.
No.
So it was... I get you.
Yeah, and loyalty.
Dane, I think this is the time where we bring in the masses and the masses and the masses that have checked out for the main spoiler review.
Yes.
Want to come back for the Cult Lord ratings. So
Cult Lord ratings are coming up.
All right, so we're going to take a break and let everybody come back in. All right, everybody, we are back in for the Cult Lords ratings. Dane, I think before we do the Cult Lords ratings, let's do one more toast.
Toast?
What's our gin called again?
1908.
Empress 1908. It was a great cocktail to drink. And woo, and everybody should be back that skipped the spoiler review. Now we're going to do our Cult Lords ratings. But before we get to them, I always like to share with everybody the Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Oh, the Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. So.
What are they? Pray tell.
So, Dane, get back. Get back.
Get back. I can't see. Tell me.
As the Beatles said, get back. Okay.
Get back.
The critics' score for this movie was a 61%. 61.
61%?
The audience score for this movie was an 82% score. So, obviously, the audience liked this movie better than the critics. But where do we align with both the audience and the critics?
It's a mystery.
That's where we're about to find out right now.
All right.
It's time for the Cult Lords ratings. All right. On the count of three, Dane, you got your score?
I do.
On the count of three, we will flip these over. 1, 2, 3.
Ah!
So you gave the exact score as the critics did.
Yep.
And I gave 1 point lower than the audience score.
The audience did. Oh, that's hilarious. We have done this so many times where one of us is the audience or the critic.
This is becoming like a pattern, isn't it?
It's a strange pattern that keeps repeating.
And we don't discuss this. And I didn't know his score until the exact moment he flipped that over. So, but I could kind of tell through the spoiler review where you were going to go. I don't know if you knew where I was going to go, did you?
You were higher than I thought you were going to go.
I knew, I bet.
Because I think you were more harsh when we were talking about this. And I thought that was going to go.
But here's the deal.
What?
When I watched when I watched this movie, I was entertained from beginning to end. I was entertained. Now, was it a great movie that I'm going to remember on my deathbed and say, man, remember the Protege, how great that movie was? No. That would be, if it was that great, it would be in the nines. It would be in the nines. But this is what I call, Dane, entertainment filler.
Yeah.
During the movie, you are entertained. Now, you're not going to go away, and you'll recommend somebody to watch this, but you're not going to go away and say, that changed the game. That was the greatest spy, secret agent, assassin movie I ever saw. No, you're not going to do that. But you're going to say, man, that was pretty good. All right, on to the next movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they had Michael Keaton, who we skipped over the actors and actresses in this movie, but Michael Keaton did such a great job with a lot of other movies like Birdman, and he's been a touchstone in a lot of Mr. Mom, Gung Ho, Batman. I mean, the guy's been definitely up there. Maggie Q started from like these little Korean movies, worked her way up, and this is one.
Is it Korean? I don't know.
Well, Asian movies.
Okay.
We'll just say, I'm sorry. She might be back and forth with a lot of... I think her dad is Irish and her mom was Vietnamese. So it's Vietnam, sorry. Okay. Sorry, Maggie. But, both of them have come up from they started small, worked their way up. Do you know where Michael Keaton started, by the way?
What? His movies?
No. What's the first thing he ever appeared on a public video of television? He was the panda, black and white panda in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Nice.
1974.
Did not know that.
That's his first thing. And Maggie Q did a lot of these Asian movies, and then she's played a lot of, like she was in a Mission Impossible movie, other things that, played Wonder Woman on Young Justice. She was in the
But with all that,
Nikita Priest and everything, but... She's done a lot of this is like one of the first movies where she was a lead in a character. Yeah. And so... But
you still only gave this movie a 6.1.
I gave it a 6.1 because there was just too many holes in this movie.
Yeah.
Too many, like...
See, so sometimes when you watch a movie, you see the holes.
Yeah.
But you've got to suspend some sort of... Disbelief in the reality of what's going on. Mm-hmm. And just ride with it. And that's what I did, and I enjoyed it. Not enough where I thought this was one of the greatest movies ever, but enough where I would recommend it as entertainment to a friend.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend it as entertainment when you have nothing else to watch. Yeah. From an assassin movie standpoint, I just think there was just too many tonality problems, too many, like the storyline, the ending, which we talked about and all that. I'm not going to give them
spoilers. In the spoiler review, we talked about it.
But still,
all right,
enjoyable.
Well, I tell you what, if you've seen The Protege, tell us what you think about it in the comments. And if you do comment by this date above our head,
you will win this.
You will win. No, you will not win it. You will get entered into a raffle.
Sorry.
We're going to have 100 comments and 100 winners of the...
Well, that would cut into his vault copies.
Yes. So you will get entered into a raffle that we will put online.
Comment by this date. And again, we love subscribers. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Please, press the button down here and press subscribe.
And hit like to this.
Yes.
You don't know how much that means to have a like on there because that helps with the algorithms on YouTube where we get showed to more people.
Right.
So that are not subscribers.
Yep.
It's by how many likes we have. So if you're watching this and you haven't hit liked, you haven't done your job for us. So please like this video. Well, that's it for Protege Week. We got to talk about travel. We talked about gin. We talked about our favorite top 8 movies for...
assassin, spy, CIA movies.
Yep. And we had a good time reviewing the movie The Protege. And upcoming in the future, we'll be reviewing the movie Mandy. And then we're also going to be doing a one-off video on the zombie genre. We can't wait to share with you our thoughts on the zombie genre, about the history of the genre and what's really good, what you want to see from both a movie standpoint and a series standpoint. So be on the lookout for that. And when we do Mandy and we get to episode 10, our second edition of the Star Wars cold openings will hit. So
yes, medley number 2.
We're excited about that. So once again, we want to thank you for coming in, watching another episode of the Cult Lords, and we'll see you next time.
We
Oh, man.
That helmet is hilarious. You got to do the whole episode in that thing.
Wouldn't that be hilarious to do the whole episode?
Your fans demand it.
Red 5 standing by. Now, do I look more like Red 5 or do I look like Porkins? I feel like I look like Porkins. Porkins had the goatee and he had the big old belly. But of course he dies. He's like, ah!
Porkins.
Yes.
Is that his real name, Porkins?
That's his name. There's a guy named Porkins. And he's the fat guy of all things. You know what I mean? So,
it looks awesome. You should just ride that around all the time.
That'll keep those fighters off our back. You know, just putting in this makes me want to say lines. You know what I mean?
Do it.
I've lost R2. You know? Oh, it's just like hitting wop rats back at Beggar's Canyon back home. You know? I mean...
It's a trap.
Oh, that'd be a different thing. We need to get you an Admiral Akbar mask. It's a trap! Oh, my gosh.
I'm telling you, you got to keep that on the entire episode.
No, can't do it. Can't do it. If you do a mask or a helmet the whole way through, I'll do it.
Go ahead. Cover me, Porkins. I'm right with you, Red 3. Got a problem here.